morning. I have an earworm that I thought I would sing into this little imaginary radio show voice catcher, and maybe it will leave my head. Okay, here we go. Splooch, the diarrhea turtle lives in Australia. That is literally all I got. It just is going around and around and around in my head, and I need it to stop. Okay, all out.
TBTL.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
It's Friday. Gonna get down on Friday.
Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
For $20, I can tell you a lot of things. For $30, I can tell you more. And for $50, I can tell you everything.
It's kind of weird. I feel like I'm being interrogated, but by someone who doesn't really want to know anything important.
For the sake of customer service, try to chill out, my mom.
Oh my God, man, we are seeing some we ain't never seen before.
All right, hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to a Friday edition of TBTL, the show that was almost too beautiful to live.
Hey, what happened?
My name is Luke Burbank. I'll be hosting things today.
Brother, who are you? What are you doing?
Coming to you from the backyard of our friend Nora McInerney in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, or as we now say on the show.
This is the way we talk in Tucson, Arizona.
In Phoenix, Arizona, where we've had to take some sort of evasive action. We've had to go to plan... I don't even know if it's plan B. It might be like plan G or something. Yesterday, we were cruising down the highway in the Arizona desert, somewhere near Agua Caliente. And I remember thinking to myself, God, this is just going great. We got 4 shows in the books. We're on our way to Phoenix to do the show for Mary The TBTL Virgin, who's never actually heard the show and yet is somehow a fan of the program. And I thought, nothing can go wrong. Nothing bad could ever happen on this trip.
I wish I hadn't done that.
And that was right about the time that the van started spewing coolant everywhere. And we got stuck at a little roadside gas station in Sentinel, Arizona.
It was literally a major disaster.
But here we are, everybody, ready to bring you episode 3433 in a collector's series.
Let the fun begin.
Of course, a little van breakdown isn't going to stop us from continuing on with TBTLathon 12, contentless delivery. That's right, we are still trying to raise money for this little program. And
So, you got my money?
it's the last day of this TBTLathon thing. So if you can take a moment to go to tbtl.net. I don't know if you could hear that in the background.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
That is our friend Nora and her husband Matthews. The pool robot, the thing that cleans the pool here in Arizona in their backyard. And it makes what could only be described as an absolutely terrifying sound about every 4 or 5 minutes. A lot of podcasts would say, let's unplug that thing. Let's get that out of the mix. We said, can you make it rain harder? Can you make it sound worse? We're leaving it going because we think it's kind of funny. Although I'm not sure if my mind will change on that throughout the show. Anyway, that's what that noise was in the background. Point is, here we are, raising money for TBTL over there at tbtl.net. Speaking of money, it looks like the Splooge coin, which is the cryptocurrency that we're trying to create with the listeners, the TBTL cryptocurrency, is getting ever closer to being a reality. Well, we have a mock-up of it anyway, so we'll talk about that. Also, the listeners, at least one listener on Facebook says, I'm overstating the menace that is the cicada reemergence. And I would say tell that to Manu Raju, the congressional correspondent for CNN, who recently had a cicada climb on him while he was trying to do a TV report, and it was not great.
Cicada. What the hell? Do I have more on me?
We will tell you what's going on with the cicada menace. And then, speaking of good animals, there's a guy who is playing classic rock songs on the guitar while his parrot sings along to them, and it is just exactly what you need to hear on this Friday. Did you see a parrot just flew by? Is that a thing, Mary, here in Phoenix? It's a peach-faced lovebird. That's what they used to call me in high school, by the way. God, that joke never gets old. An actual, like, lovebird, parrot type thing flew by as I was talking about this parrot that sings classic rock songs that we're going to play with the audio of coming up. We'll do all of that with the help of this young man, the longest-running Cobra of the show, maybe best known for his depictions of the tall ships. He was recently reminiscing about the time that our van broke down in the Arizona desert.
It was a moment that I didn't enjoy.
He's Andrew Walsh, and he's joining me from about 2 feet to my right here in Nora McInerney's backyard. My friend, how are you doing on this Friday morning?
Oh, great. Everything's perfect, Luke. I'm looking forward to talking about our adventures. One thing that I just noticed, one programming note, I would have completely forgotten about this, but I just got an email. Like, the email is still hot. Just in from Chicago, we will be crowning the champion of the Drops of Stupider contest.
Yes. This is, of course, it's like a multi-week project run by our friend Jake in Chicago to try to figure out by listener vote what is the greatest moment in TBTL history. And so we will be announcing the winner. And what are the finalists? It's
down to you telling your boat disaster story and Splooch the diarrhea turtle.
Right, which, you know, we've got our friend Mary the TBTL Virgin here in Nora's backyard. And Mary's never actually listened to the program before, of course. She somehow got on the newsletter. We've had Mary on the show, but she's never listened to it. Now we're having her listen to a show where we've already said diarrhea at least 4 times in the first, 5 minutes of the program. I think this is going to be a long journey today, my friends. We have so much to tell you about, and I think we're kind of hyped up. It's the final day of the TBTL-thon. I don't know where we would be, Andrew, if we had not picked up our dear friend and colleague Kiki Lolo in Los Angeles. I feel like Kiki, do you love me? Christina Lopez, you've been the emotional you've been the emotional compass for the last 2 days when we thought maybe we weren't going to be able to finish the trip. You brought a certain calming, fun energy which has been really needed on this trip. So thank you for being here. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm actually doing pretty good. You know, I think, we'll get into what happened, but it was fun to catalog our journey and then have it hit a certain hitch and, some really interesting conjectures happening based off my Instagram story. So,
just so folks know, Christina will once again, and I think we're on very good Wi-Fi because we are again using the Wi-Fi of noted internet celebrity Nora McInerney, and she doesn't skimp on getting the finest Wi-Fi available in Phoenix, Arizona. So Christina's going to be monitoring the various channels, Slack, YouTube, things like that, and reporting on what you all are saying and questions you may have. So just get in there, get chatty, because we actually have a professional here to keep track of things. Are you already seeing stuff? You're shaking your head ruefully.
People are nervous about the drink placements.
Let me just tell you, folks who are watching this on the internet, this is the least of the worries right now. A bigger problem, Andrew's phone turned off 1 minute before showtime because it was too hot here in Arizona, and we had to.
We should mention
things are gonna get hot. They're gonna get funky.
For those who don't know,
better open the window.
The phone is what is bringing this YouTube live stream. It's not like, I can't get a text message from our boy the Stewbot. I mean, everything is dependent on that phone, which was baking in the sun until it shut down. I had to put it in the refrigerator.
Now, let's point out too, though, that Christina and I tried to hatch a master plan to take one of Nora's kids' teepees, like they have a little kind of like for kids to play around in, and we put it on a table. We tried to create a tent over your cell phone, Andrew, so that it wouldn't get too hot. That clearly did not work.
It did not. We weren't really good at that. I think it was still hitting the front of the camera. The front of the. We tried. We didn't just put it out there. We knew enough that it was going to get overheated. We just couldn't engineer something.
But just so the listeners know, honestly, the water getting on the equipment might help.
Yes, right.
It might actually have a cooling effect.
Exactly.
That when speaking of coolant. Let's talk a little bit about what happened yesterday, my friends. I think it would be fun to do this kind of Rauschenmann style. Maybe we get everyone's perspective on it.
Can I throw this in just one thing? I did get a note from our kind of program director the other day who said that we're probably looking inward a little bit too much on this show, and like we have top stories to get to. We have a cicada story to get to that I'm really interested in. Yeah. Maybe today is not a day to like just kind of talk about ourselves and the journey. Like maybe we just skip. I mean, I don't know, Luke. I'm sure I should have talked to you about this before the show. I apologize. I'm putting you in a weird position, but like
believe he just
I
told
just
that
don't know
joke.
if people are interested in that stuff.
I don't even have time to play along with this because I need to process what happened yesterday.
All
Okay.
right, okay.
Let's start, Christina, with your perspective. And We're back. All right, so for those of you who have rejoined us on YouTube, welcome back. You are now seeing the view from inside Nora and Matthew's kitchen. That is the only place we think that the camera, also known as Andrew's phone, will be able to stay at a cool enough temperature so as to keep streaming this thing. If you are just listening to this podcast days, weeks, or even years from now, thank you for bearing with us. I know none of this is relevant to your interests, but anyway, we're back up. We're streaming. It's all happening. Keep letting Christina Lopez know what's going on, and we'll keep checking in with you out there in YouTube land. Now, we were just talking about Ruben coming back out to the Delica van to look at the motor and tell us what was wrong. And when he looked at it, he noticed that all of the the belts seemed to be in working order, like the things that, you know, turn the fan and things like that, which is part of how the engine stays cool, is moving this coolant around. What was basically happening was the tank that's the overflow, like when the engine gets too hot, the coolant, like things expand and this coolant kind of dumps over into this overflow tank. That thing was just spewing coolant, and in fact, the coolant was boiling.
Yeah, we could hear it actually boiling.
Someone in our group said it sounded like a bong. I don't want to say who.
Yes.
Because I don't want to impugn anyone's integrity. But it did imagine the sound of a bong.
Right, if they knew what that, I don't,
Right,
I'm
well,
not
exactly.
familiar with that sound. So
I listened to a lot of Cypress Hill at one point. It sort of sounded like whatever instrument they play on a lot of their tracks.
Sure, it was that. So it was sort of like, at this point, it started to dawn on me that we were not driving this van out of Sentinel, Arizona, right?
That was the moment for me when I realized, oh, this isn't, oh, darn, it's going to be a warm trip with no air conditioning. It's like, oh, we're looking at a tow truck and saying, there's the monster again. Does our van fit on that tow truck? And where the hell does it tow us?
Yeah. Well, we got very lucky that that Ruben was there, and that he also runs a towing company, and that it's not just like a tow truck that you hook the car up to. It's like a beast of a vehicle that you can actually put your car on it, and then it can drive you places. And so he was like, I mean, I can drive you to Arizona. I mean, I can drive you to Phoenix, that is. We were already in Arizona. It just so happened that he was there to do this, which it was a very unlucky day for us, but there were things that were, in fact, lucky. It was lucky that we needed diesel fuel.
Because that's where because that's what made us stop at that station, you mean?
Yeah, because had we just kept driving, there's a really good chance that the engine would have overheated, and we would have been like, I mean, this is the part of Arizona that we're in. It's like every there's only something every 100 miles, and that something could just be like some random person's house. It could be a gas station that doesn't have diesel. It could be a place that doesn't have tow facilities. In fact, when we ended up riding in Ruben's truck to Phoenix with our van on his truck, I asked him, like, what would have happened if you would have just not been here with your tow truck? And he was like, it could have been a long, long time. There's like 2 towing companies in this whole like huge area of the Arizona desert, and he's one of them basically. And had he not just been there, like, yeah, I can take you into town, we would just live at that gas station.
Yeah, we'd be there right now. Yeah,
and I don't even eat meat. There would be no options for me.
Yeah, you'd be having a breakfast of Funyuns and Gatorade Light.
Sounds kind of good.
Someone on the YouTube, Jeff Stewart, says Car Talk is going to ask YouTube to demonetize this.
Car Talk is, right.
Wow. Yeah.
Don't drive like my tow truck driver.
We are represented by Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. So we've inherited them now that Car Talk is out of production. But yeah, so it was a bummer to realize that we were not going to be able to do the normal plan, which was drive the van here, go to Mary the TBTL Virgin's house, and broadcast the show to her. Thankfully, Mary is here. She has brought gifts. She brought the Sorry game. She brought was it a safety whistle?
Yes.
It's brought all kinds of awesome things, and
cookies.
Thank you. We could have used that yesterday. Where were you yesterday with that, Mary? Also, a shout out to Mary's neighbor who had apparently set up a whole electrical thing for us and fans at the condo association. Sorry that we had to do this. Sorry we had to do this kind of like last minute changeroo. But I have to say, like, I have still internally been having a bit of a battle with myself over if we should have just tried to drive the van
from the gas station after all of this happened.
Yes, because let me put it this way: if it were just me, and if it were my van, which it's not, we're renting it, from a very nice lady named Andrea. If it were just me and if it were my van, I would have talked myself into just driving to Phoenix.
And I think that would have been a mistake.
Yeah.
I will say this. For almost everything related to TBTL on a trip like this, we have conversations about production stuff, technical setup, camera angles, all of these things. Almost everything I say to you, Luke, is I will give you my honest opinion about this, but at the end of the day, it's your call because I honestly, I just think you have good instincts on stuff and you're usually right about that. I'm not just saying that to be nice because frankly, I don't enjoy being nice, but to you. No, but for real, that is the God's honest truth. If that had come up, though, I would have said no. I think I would have really stood up strongly against that. That's where you
actually draw the line.
Because I think that would have put us in a very dangerous position.
Yeah.
Were you guys a little bit worried, Andrew? Were you a tiny bit worried that I was going to try to make the case for us just risking it?
No, it didn't even occur to me that you would be that crazy.
Were you worried that I was going to say, like, we got this?
I was kind of just going with the flow. I was in a very zen
You really
place.
were.
I was
which
just kind of
which
like,
was
all right,
awesome.
let's go.
You were, yeah, we needed that energy. I really had the thought, I was thinking, okay, here's what we do. I buy like 4 or 5 huge bottles of water in the gas station, and then we just start driving. And if the engine gets too hot, we crank the seat up and I just pour water on it and just try to cool it down. That was a thought I had.
I also, this is where my mind was, and this just, Christina laughed her ass off because this just goes to show you just how cheap I am. We were filling up the gas, and then we thought gas was overflowing, so we stopped the gas, and we realized, oh, it's not the gas, so you started the gas back up, and then as the van is being pulled onto the tow truck, I'm like, I'm glad we just spent $50 to fill up that tank of gas so that we can pull it. That's what my friend who had this Camaro one time. He had a car that completely broke down. He had to get rid of it, and his last words were, I had just filled it with gas. And it was like that.
Well, the thing is, it was full of diesel when we got it, so I think it probably needed to be full, even if it goes back to Portland on a truck. I mean, no joke. Like, I don't know what they charge if you send it back with less fuel in it, but I mean, that's the big question. So where things stand now, by the way, Mary, the TBTL Virgin, is handing me notes. She is working her comedy into the show. THTL, Too Hot to Live.
Too Hot to Live, possible show title.
Possible show title. We're putting it on the list. Where things sort of currently stand is we got the van to Phoenix on the back of Ruben's truck. We learned all about Ruben's daughter's podcast. She is apparently a very, very accomplished wild Mustang tamer.
Trainer.
Tamer. This is a whole thing. The Bureau, I don't know if it's the Bureau of Land Management, but they go out and they catch all these wild horses because there are too many wild horses. And despite the Rolling Stones and what they had to say on it, they catch these horses, and there are people who like to train these horses to do things. And Ruben's daughter is apparently amazing at it. And I have to be totally honest with you. Ruben, we've already established, pretty macho guy. Got some dirt under the fingernails.
Broken hand.
Broken hand, but he eschewed the cast.
Yes.
Take a note, Andrew.
I know.
Ruben had a broken hand.
I was like, but I stubbed my finger.
Went to the doctor, didn't like the cast, took it off, then said, you're not putting another cast on me. So this is a guy who I did not necessarily think was going to be familiar with the world of podcasting.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he's like, my daughter has a podcast.
Yes. Which is how you know that we have. Mary, do you have a podcast yet? Okay,
Not yet,
well,
she says.
Let's put that on the list of to-dos. We can have you a podcast by later this afternoon.
I will also say, and I think I shared this with you. Ruben posted about the van asking for help in the area if anyone knew how to fix it, and he called us podcast celebrity.
Yes, and he tagged TBTL. Before he even pulled the van, or maybe around the time he was pulling the van onto his flatbed, he was, and I think, Luke, you're the one who told me this, he was already tapping into his social networks to see if there were any, Mitsubishi, vintage Mitsubishi experts in the area. He's already putting some little birds out there trying to help us.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was really
because
beautiful.
One of the dispiriting parts of this whole thing yesterday was standing in the baking sun in this sort of dusty, parking lot of this gas station, calling. And by the way, at this point, it was about 5:57 p.m. And I'm on the internet, and I'm calling any places in Phoenix that claim to specialize in Japanese automobile. And I'm calling them, and I'm either getting voicemail or this number does not exist, or a person. And I would do this thing where I'd be like, hey, do you work on Japanese vans? Yes, we do. Okay, we have a Mitsubishi. Could you work on that? Probably. It's from 1993. Click.
Yeah.
Nobody, literally people were like, yeah, I don't have any parts for that. I don't know how to work on that. Like it turns out we may have not thought this fully through, driving an extremely boutique vehicle through the desert that is now having some problems. So where things currently stand is the van is safely at our hotel. There are people in Portland working on the project, i.e. the owner of the van is trying to find someone that will come look at the van. I got a text, though, by the way. There's also a place up in Portland that works specifically on these vehicles. And those people are in this text chain that I'm on, by the way, Andrew.
Directly. Okay, I'm interested in this.
I'm texting with a vintage Mitsubishi repair place in Portland and the woman who owns the van. And I just got a reply. John at Sundance Auto Service and Machine said he would be willing to look at it, but he can't get to it until Monday.
Which is actually Memorial Day, right?
I guess we just live in Phoenix now.
Wow.
That's, by the way, that's the first person who's even agreed to look at the van.
To even look at it, and then we don't know what's going to happen. Once they look at it, they could say, well, we need to, fly in a part from, 1993.
Yeah, we
need
Japan. We need to build a time portal.
Exactly.
We need to go back to 1993 and get the thing. By the way, one of these mechanics that I've been texting with today asked if it was the thermostat, or said he thought it might be the thermostat, which was Ruben's
That's
theory.
What Ruben was saying.
He knew his stuff, man.
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah, Ruben. My favorite sandwich and now my favorite tow truck driver, Ruben.
So I don't really know what we're going to do next. We're very grateful to be here. We're very grateful Mary was able to join us and to sort of last-minute change of plans. But, Christina, you at some point got to get back to Los Angeles.
Yeah, I got to figure that out.
We have to at some point go back to our real lives. I don't know if we can just stay in Phoenix waiting for a part for a 1993 van.
Well, is there a chance that, because, I was saying this to you, my position here is so Luke, you work a whole bunch of jobs, right? Christina is closest to home by being in Arizona. What is it, a 6-hour drive?
Yeah,
so chances are you'll probably rent a car, maybe peel off at some point, drive back. That makes sense.
A little road trip for the Memorial Day weekend.
Luke, you have a million responsibilities. You have various jobs you work. I have basically one responsibility, and it's TBTL. So is there a chance that I stay back in Arizona myself? You go back to real life in Portland. We, do the show remotely from Arizona for a few days, and I'm driving this thing back myself.
I don't feel like that's a good deal for you at all.
Doesn't seem like a great deal, but options are running thin, right?
I don't know. I mean, to be totally honest with you, which is rare for me.
You're scared to see me driving that van, which I don't blame you, by the way.
No, I could stay in Arizona. Mary, can we stay at your house? Yes, do you have a swimming pool at your place? Does it have a terrifying cleaning robot like this? Okay, good. That sounds like a much better setup. The truth of the matter is, Andrew, I don't really have to go back to Portland because my jobs are all things that I can do in a hotel room with a microphone.
That's true.
So technically, I want you to believe that I'm so important that I'm being called Portland needs me. But the truth of the matter is, I also could just stay here with you. But then it's how long are we going to stay in Portland waiting for
Phoenix?
Phoenix. How long are we going to stay in Phoenix waiting for this thing to get worked out?
I guess.
Mary, what do you know about Mitsubishi vans?
Nothing.
Oh, well, that would make you like most of the people that work on cars in Phoenix.
So you're at level with everybody else. I guess I do this thing, and I was trying to explain this to you yesterday, Luke. I don't know if I was understandable in this, but you mentioned that we found ourselves in a pretty bad situation, but there were a lot of good things breaking our way considering how bad the situation was. The fact that there was a tow truck right there, that there was this guy, Ruben, who was actually very good at what he does and very personable and all those things. And I find myself when I'm in bad situations kind of counting my blessings like that. When my cars and vans used to break down all the time when I was young, I'd be like, yes, it broke down right on the off-ramp on Stearns Road, not in the middle lane, in downtown Cleveland or whatever. And I always say wow, okay, this could be worse, this could be worse. And
our best friend Nora McInerney lives in Phoenix and is you guys can come over and do the show. I'm going out of town.
And I'm just thinking, and I apologize to you, Luke, because I was saying this to you yesterday, but there are 10 people listening who didn't hear this. But if I was on this road trip with Genevieve right now, everything else is the same, but I'm on the road trip with Genevieve, but I've got
way more sex.
About even. But I got a cat back at home who's got a cat sitter and needs 3 pills a day. Otherwise, he's going to have seizures. And then I have to, manage that. And then there would be all these other things in my life. But right now, don't get me wrong, I don't, necessarily think it's best for me to spend an entire week in Phoenix. But if I have to, I'm actually in a good position. I can do that.
Yeah.
And in a certain way, I feel lucky. My responsibility is to do a show with you every day. And maybe this even ties back to the TBTL-a-thon and kind of what we're doing doing here. I don't know. I'm not trying to force it, but like I just spent some time yesterday thinking I'm really lucky that yes, this is a bad situation, but it's also my only responsibility right now is to work on this with you and do some shows that are hopefully entertaining.
Well, I'm glad that you're taking that perspective. I think you're right. We got very lucky in an unlucky situation, which is, by the way, going to be my next motivational speech.
Yes.
Forget being unreasonable in unreasonable times. Staying lucky in unlucky situations is the new Luke Burbank keynote speech that you can have at your Rotary Club or other get-together. But the other thing that happened that was insanely lucky was when we finally got to the hotel in Phoenix and Ruben got the Delica off of, which that van seemed fairly sizable to me when we were in it, but when we saw it on Ruben's truck, it just looked like a baby. My friend Graham on Twitter said, I want to see a Russian nesting doll situation where the tow truck breaks down and then a bigger truck has to tow the tow truck and the Delica, and then it ends up on an aircraft carrier. After our van was off of Ruben's truck and it was safely back on terra firma, we wanted to take a picture, for the memories. It's all hashtag content.
Oh, my God.
And I was trying to prop my phone up on the back of this huge flatbed truck that is Ruben's. And I had my backpack, which has this computer in it, and all my, the most vital things for me are in that particular backpack. I set the backpack on the back of the truck. It's dark now, by the way. And I put my phone, propped it against the backpack to take the picture. We take the picture. I grab the phone. We're all happy. Ruben, high fives all around. Pay for the towing with the APM card. More on that coming up, Rachel Dennis. And we're all ready to go. We're about to head into the hotel. And Ruben comes back around and says, oh, your backpack's on the back of my truck. It's black, by the way. I'll mention. The backpack is black. It was completely invisible. He was looking for some piece of his gear.
I think he was maybe just doing a scan to make sure that he hadn't left anything on there. Did I have that right?
Whatever he was doing, he noticed this thing, and I just have to say, had he not noticed that, he would have driven back to Sentinel, Arizona, 99 miles from Phoenix, with my most important work and really worldly possessions sitting on the back of his flatbed truck. And Andrew, you pointed out, best case scenario, it would have made it back to Sentinel, Arizona.
Right.
More likely, it would have ended up somewhere in between here and there on the road, like our signs.
I get panicky just thinking about the moment you make that realization, because it might have been an hour later. It could have been, though. I mean, I guess if it was 20 minutes later, we can maybe call him and say, hey, stop. We think the bag. I think you would have remembered maybe where you left it. You had his phone number. Maybe you don't even have his phone number.
I do have his phone number.
But I keep thinking about that imaginary moment where we realize your bag was left on the back of that truck, and I get panicky thinking about that.
I think that would have broke me. Yeah. Honestly, I'm really proud of us how we made it through this together. We end up having how was your second dinner out of pandemic at
Oh my
Belly's?
gosh, can we talk about that?
Was
Because
so
that felt
good.
like a real dinner.
Okay,
that was
good.
like a real, it was a wonderful. We shared a bunch of entrees and we had great cocktails.
It was really good.
It was exactly what we needed. This place, Belly. Have you been to that place, Mary? Vietnamese? Check it out. It's
real
delicious. We may go back there tonight. I don't know. We live in Phoenix now. But I think, honestly, if I would have realized after we got it, also, you're throwing this, it's still super hot. We're sweating. It's been a long day. If I got back to the hotel room after schlepping all these various bags of gear that we have, and then at some point had that realization that after all of that, Andrew, I had also left my backpack on the back of a giant flatbed tow truck. I don't know. You would have found me floating in the pool like the beginning of Sunset Boulevard at the hotel. It would be like that, the guy who ends up dead in the movie. I honestly don't think, I feel like I'm a pretty resilient person. I don't think I could have rolled with that. That would have just ended me. It would have just been one bad thing too many.
You see, and then I would have been like, we can wake up early, and I can rent a car, and it's only a 3-hour drive,
Well, I would have quit the podcast is my point, you guys. Now you would host it with Mary.
Right.
Which actually sounds like a good show. I would actually listen to that.
Because all of that is on the assumption, Christina, that it doesn't just fall off the back of the truck.
Yeah, right.
Which, and that was, we know it was exactly 99 miles, right?
Yeah.
So, that's a long way for this bag that was on the very end of the flatbed to travel without just hitting a bump and falling off. There's no way that would have made it all the way back to the service station.
Yeah, no way.
So thankfully, that disaster was averted. And
take a breath.
Here we are in Nora's backyard. By the way, a huge thanks to Nora, Matthew, Ian, Sophie, Ralph, Quentin, Stacy and Meredith the dogs, and then Cuteness the turtle.
Yes, I will take a picture of Cuteness for people.
There is a turtle here.
Cuteness McInerney Hart. is the name of what is also Cuteness the Darkness.
Okay,
McInerney.
I have it because she texted it to me, so I'm gonna pull it up right now. Just give me.
This is, I'll tell you what, this place is teeming with life.
Yeah, I know. When we came in, it was just like, whoa.
And also, yeah,
life.
Nora and Matthew and the fam are leaving out on a road trip because they live down here now. But you guys all know Nora does Terrible Thanks for Asking here on American Public Media On Demand. Is that what we call this network?
We're APM Studios.
Here on APM Studios. But they are road tripping around and ending up back in Minnesota. They picked a good time, actually. I think it's getting pretty toasty out here.
Yeah.
And they were so nice so as to let us like squat in their house or in the backyard of their house so that we could do this. So a big thanks to them.
So the turtle's full name is Cuteness, Darkness of Doom, McInerney Heart.
And I'll tell you what, she's a cutie. She
Yeah,
really is.
yeah. I mean, you look at the turtle, and it's like, of course you would name it that. What else would you name that turtle?
Right.
Yeah.
It's that Junior, right?
You could have named it. You could have named it Sploosh.
That's you know what?
That's
Great
Sherilyn.
callback.
Sherilyn Corrales did that, so I don't want to take it.
We have a dazzling donor that we'd like to thank here on this Friday. Now, we're sort of, winding down the dazzling donors, I think, ideally, from last year, although we're hearing from a few folks that we missed for one reason or another. So let me just get to that part of my screen.
And I will actually, if you don't mind, I will give the name. I believe this is longtime listener Hess Sa, who
That's
we
right.
have met at various TBTL events. I can't remember. It'll be in the copy where Hess lives now, but I think she's moved around a lot.
Yeah,
so we've
Tennessee.
seen her, in various live shows over the years.
Hess is one of the wonderful people that's been donating to the show the last year. And again, we hope that if you are in a spot financially to keep this thing going, you could pop over to tbtl.net. This is the last day of this thing. I don't know where we are in terms of our goals. They don't tell me any of the goals. I'm not at that pay grade.
I heard yesterday that we were about 83% there.
Okay.
So that's some,
If you could just help us splooge over the line for that last 17%. It would really mean a lot. And maybe you're somebody who is thinking, well, I don't have that much to donate. I don't even think it's about the amount. I think that what makes our bosses really happy and what allows us to keep doing this show is a lot of people signing up, because then that tells them that people actually do care about this show. So
And they could say, like, we have this many people who care about this show.
Exactly. Also, if you know how to fix a Mitsubishi van in lieu of a donation, we will accept that. Hess says, let me start by giving a shout out to my friendos, Megan Twomey, or Toomey, I should say. I've only said Megan's name like 1,000 times on the show. I still have trouble. Joe and Missy Boyle, Megan Lettercamp, and Tiffany Heiner. It's been amazing to make fantastic connections this way. It's kind of hard to explain to my real life friends that I am going to meet a stranger at a bar in Korea in the middle of the night and not get the side eye. As you can see, I was not abducted or sold for parts. I'm imagining that Hess must have met up with a fellow TBTL listener in Korea somewhere in the middle of the night. Like most people, I am utterly grateful for this program that has been my companion during highs and lows in my life. And like most people, this show has been my lifeline prior to and through the pandemic. I would like to take my brief dazzling donor moment to ask the tens to reach out and connect with me on Facebook or Slack. Although I have been extremely blessed through the pandemic, I'm finding myself in almost complete social isolation as I have permanently moved to Middle Tennessee and have very few ways to meet fun people without sounding creepy. Although I am realizing this may sound kind of weird, but what the heck? You should have heard me when I realized, oh shit, I live here now. I would love to hear from some 10s, especially in Tennessee. So if you are a 10 who is looking to keep, another 10 virtual company, particularly if you're in Tennessee, hit Hess up so that she doesn't feel so lonely in Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
Hess says, finally, thank you for providing an awesome space where y'all can appreciate each other. I hope someday you both realize how much you and your show has helped people. How about listener Hess?
Thank you, Hess. Something that Hess says there reminds me of a conversation that I overheard yesterday. I hope it's okay, Christina, to talk about a conversation. Do you know what I'm going to say?
I have no idea what you're going to say.
Okay, good. You were on the phone to somebody. You kept saying, no, I need a kilo. I don't know. No, I'm just joking. When we were at Lisa's house yesterday and we were talking with Farron, listener Farron, who was also there for the show, you guys were talking about you get a certain age as adults and it's a little bit harder to meet people and make friends. And then you throw a pandemic on top of that, and it can be even more difficult, right?
Yeah.
It's like we're not going to school every day. We don't have these kind of built-in
You don't have the office.
social structures.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so one thing that Farron's been doing, and she said that she volunteers with a lot of groups and meets like-minded people in that way. And I think TBTL is another way to find. This is why Hess can be in Korea and just reach out to somebody who she knows is safe and a friend and has something in common and something to bond over, on the different side of the globe. And that's really nice. And we see that happening virtually every single day on the Stens page, on the Slack page. And a lot of these friends become IRL friends.
There are people talking about having meetups again. Like, I can't wait to see those happening and starting up again. The Arizona 10s are already brewing something. So, I mean, it's a really beautiful community to observe, and also I consider myself a part of now.
Right. Yes. Right.
And it's instead of playing adult dodgeball, maybe just gather around a podcast listening club.
Yeah, if you do have the chance to donate, we have some cool thank you gifts, including this TBTL sound box, which continues to bedevil us as we travel around the West, because it is, I have to say, it's a beautiful piece of equipment. But if you put it in your backpack and something in your backpack is leaning on your voice of your actual mom saying this, it is a little maddening. But this thing is full of 16 different audio drops that are from TBTL. In fact,
it's kind of incredible.
I feel was it little Ralph here, little Ralph who was playing with this, Christina?
I was Quentin.
Oh, it's Quentin. Okay, yeah. This is, if you have kids, I mean, just know they are going to be obsessed with this. You might need to order two, because the kids are going to be running around. You're never going to see it again. But anyway, we have the sound machine. We have some cool pins.
We got a cooler.
Which we could use right now.
I know.
I'm trying to as my computer, by the way, starts to slow down because of the heat.
The heat. Yeah.
I'm thinking, did we learn nothing from Sacramento?
I know. Well, we are under an awning here. We're trying.
Yes.
Everybody said keep it from direct sunlight, which we are. But it's
I know,
just
but
hot.
we could have done. I mean, the house is abandoned.
Oh, why are we not inside the house?
Why did we not do it inside the house? Why we wanted to be as close as possible to this sarlacc of a pool cleaner.
I know, that sound is amazing. I also wanted to make sure that, we are asking so much of the McInerney family, and they are so gracious.
And they were leaving for a trip this morning, and it was,
Yes, and it was just, I made a mistake. I didn't bring this box full of equipment. We thought we brought everything, but I left one box behind. Never leave one box behind.
I forgot my emergency whistle. Thank God Mary got one for me.
We made this agreement, listen, they are bailing us out so hardcore here. Let's just make this so easy on them. We just want to we'll just set up outside. We'll just stay out of the way. And then I'm like, do you have a power cable? They bring me a power cable. Oh, yeah, but one with a power strip. Oh, yeah, here's that. Oh, and do you have a tripod?
That we can put the camera?
But one for my phone. Okay. Oh, wait, you didn't roast me a chicken? I thought you were going to make me some food before you left. So I think one of the reasons
Nora
we wanted to do it
shoved water in my hand. She's
yes.
I'm giving you water. You need to drink it.
It is true, by the way. This is a big difference of being here in Arizona. I am so thirsty. I'm guzzling water. You know how kids drink? They take both of their hands and they wrap them around the glass.
Kids and Donald Trump. By the way.
Yes, and they just hold it up their mouth. That is how I'm drinking today.
Yeah, so thanks again to Nora and Matthew for letting us do this here at their house. And also thanks to everybody who's been supporting TBTL for all these years. This is freaking episode 3,433 in a collector's series. Although we're starting over at 1 because it's the first episode Mary has heard.
Yes.
Yeah. So Monday will be episode 2.
Okay.
But everybody who has been supporting the show for all these years and has been part of this really cool community of listeners, the tens of listeners, we just thank you so much. We feel really lucky to get to do this, and also very loved and by all of you, and the level of concern that the tens have for us when they saw the van, the picture of the van on the tow truck. It's really really warms my heart.
Yeah.
Because to know that there's this group of people that are legitimately hoping we're okay. That's very fortunate for us. So it's a very lucky position to be in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if you can head over to tbtl.net, you can see all of the thank you gifts and all of the stuff, and we'd really appreciate it so that we can, do this for another year for our jobs.
I did enjoy the speculation theory. Now I know what TV writers go through when they leave something on a cliffhanger, and people what the WandaVision people were going through. Like, what does this mean?
What were some of the theories?
Well, first of all, I had I mentioned, I had posted that Instagram story where I was trying to zoom in on the sign, but it zoomed in on the tow truck instead.
This is before we ever broke down.
We
had no idea the tow truck would be relevant to the next 3 hours of our life.
Yeah, exactly. And so people were like, "Oh, this was foreshadowed." I wonder. I am not that thoughtful. I am not planting those seeds. But it was just fascinating to kind of watch people try to string together what could have happened.
Does anybody think that we've done this on purpose to raise the stakes and get to
No, they just thought that we ran out of gas and had to get towed to the station.
Oh no, it's so much worse.
It was so much worse.
Way worse. So much worse than that, unfortunately.
Hello and welcome to Top Story.
Top Story is we're about to be rich because not only because we have faith that the TBTL listeners will continue supporting the show, but because I think we've hit on a real, and I don't remember who had the idea, but I'm going to go ahead and try to take the lion's share of the credit. This idea for a TBTL cryptocurrency, Splooge coin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which now actually, I think it was Bruce, maybe? Was it listener Bruce who
I'm not sure who
designed it? There's an actual...
There's a couple of them going on.
Oh, okay. Maybe I just saw the one Bruce did. But there are people that have now rendered a Splooge coin. Now, Mary, you don't know what the heck we're talking about. But when Andrew and I were in Australia a couple years ago, we were stopped at a... Most of the show is talking about what happened at a gas station. Yeah. Very little has changed over the years. Andrew went in to use the restroom at a gas station in the Northern Territory of Australia.
This is the outback. This is real outback country.
Yeah, just bloomin' onions everywhere.
Yeah,
as they drive,
exactly.
It's just growing out of it. It's crazy. You can just walk up and eat them.
Yes,
it's insane. So Andrew had seen in the bathroom a little kind of helpful sign that was, I think, reminding people to wash their hands
because to avoid some sort of illnesses that are gastrointestinal.
But to really drive the point home, they'd use a little clip art of a turtle that's having real stomach distress, and it's a very funny picture of a turtle drawing, and the turtle
it's sitting on a toilet or a turlet.
Yeah, and it's saying "Splooge."
We think it might say "Sploocha."
We'll show you the picture after the show, man.
Yes. But you understand why we were attracted to it.
You're an artist; you'll appreciate it.
Yes.
So Andrew showed me a picture of this turtle, and we happened to be recording the show. And it made me laugh so hard. I was dying of laughter. So that's the story on that Splooge thing. Well, we've also been talking about non-fungible tokens and cryptocurrency and how we really missed the boat on that. We got in way too late. Somebody suggested that we start our own cryptocurrency, the Splooge coin. Do you know what Dogecoin is, Mary? Do you follow that stuff? Okay, so what I'm trying to figure out is, because Dogecoin, that was a joke, right? That was made up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a thing that was started by a couple of people totally as a joke, and then Elon Musk started talking about it, and it went from being a joke to being a real thing now, and there's actual money that's gone into it, and people are making money on this Dogecoin thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know enough about cryptocurrency, but I don't understand if Dogecoin started as a joke. Why can't Splooge coin, which started as a joke, become a real thing? And are we all rich yet?
Let's be clear. All money is made up. We all just generically decide what this piece of paper and what these hard metals are worth.
Exactly.
So
so this sounds honestly like
I think we can
an argument in favor of us doing this. Because honestly, if we get this thing off the ground, does anybody know computer programming?
Yeah.
Does anybody know how to mine cryptocurrency? Mary, do you mine cryptocurrency on the side?
Figure that out.
No.
Not even close.
Okay. I think Christina, this feels like it's in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I think I can get us. Yeah.
Okay. By Monday, can we be rich by Monday?
How many
rich by Monday or get it started? By Monday?
Just rich.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Start it Saturday, rich by Monday.
A Monday or this coming Monday?
I know it's a holiday, but this coming Monday would be good.
I'll see what I can do.
We could use that cash.
How many Splooge coins do we need to get the Mitsubishi fixed? Good sir, I will pay you in Splooge coins. I don't want to say I'm getting into it with the listeners, but I think was listener Lisa went on Facebook, and I think Lisa lives in an area that has cicadas.
Oh, okay.
And she said, I'm paraphrasing here, but she sort of said, I don't really appreciate Luke acting like cicadas are this menace. I've been talking about cicadas a lot because, first of all, in Indiana, you have the cicadas that are high on mushrooms. their butts fall off.
Yep.
And they were called flying salt shakers of death by one entomologist. You've also got the real possibility of being peed on by a cicada.
That was yesterday's
and
top
what
story,
troubled me about that was that the people in the piece were all acting like it was NBD.
Yeah.
They were like, it's cute. It's a cicada urinating on you. It's like a little rain.
Yeah.
Like, it's not cute to me if a bug pees on me. And then I watched a YouTube video associated with the story, and it wasn't like a light drizzle. It was a full-on monsoon of cicada pee if you're in, like, the rainforest.
Yeah, I don't want that.
So Lisa was saying, Luke, leave it alone with the cicada, with bad-mouthing the cicadas. Well, how about this? I saw this on Twitter today. Manu Raju, who is the chief congressional correspondent for CNN, is trying to get ready to do his live hit, and a friggin' cicada crawls right up his neck. He's in the Capitol. He's standing in the Capitol. Listen to this.
So am I going to be in the break? I mean, same block out of this, or are you going to take a break? Okay.
The cicada's crawling up his neck. He's about to notice.
Oh! Oh, my God. Cicada. What the hell? Do I have more on me?
I don't see any more.
Are they under my hair? No. Oh. Yes, that's right. Where are all these cicadas coming from? Wow. Oh, thank goodness. I was like, what is that? I was like, there's something. Oh my goodness. Okay, where were we? I think I'm safe from cicadas.
You know what I thought was kind of interesting about this is I saw it on Twitter. My friend David Gura tweeted it out, but it was from the official CNN Twitter feed, which is like, it's learning. Like these news operations are learning that this kind of stuff is actually funny and humanizing.
Yeah.
Because 10 years ago, CNN does not release itself a clip of its news guy saying the F word a million times because a bug's crawling on him.
Right.
That's just not how it would work. But they understand now that like there's actually value in interest, something Christina knows all about in her line of work.
Right.
That was kind of entertaining.
So I was wondering, so it was mostly the F word that we were hearing there based on the video? Because I didn't see the video.
I think so.
Okay, yeah. I was wondering, because I mean, those were long beeps, and there was a lot more of them than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, foul mouth.
So I'm just trying, like, again, I'm not trying, this is not the week for me to go to war against the tens of listeners. This is the week for me to remind them that they're amazing and they're the only reason we get to do this job. But I would just say to listener Lisa, checkmate.
Yeah.
Okay, the cicadas, the menace of the cicadas, it's very real. They are coming for us all. On the subject of great animals, this parrot singing along with its owner playing the song Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh, what a song.
Is my new favorite thing. I saw a listener, Spritzy, on Twitter. Actually, I don't know if Sprizzy is a listener. There's just somebody that follows me on Twitter. They tweeted this out. Somehow it seemed like they're part of the TBTL universe.
I think so.
But this is a guy who has a whole bunch of YouTube videos where he just kind of plays, like, strums his acoustic guitar to some classic rock riffs, and then his parrot just gets in there and likes to kind of free jam, just kind of do its thing. So take a listen to this.
Wow. Honestly?
It's pretty good, right? This is starting over again. So that was like the whole clip. I'll let it play one more time. Partially because my computer's so hot, I can't stop the file. Oh, there, it got the message. That is, I've seen the footage. That's not like doctored. That's just this, he does all these different songs, and the parrot just like chills and then does its like little improv singing.
I was going to say that is actually better than the karaoke we heard at the junkyard.
Oh, my God. That never happened, Christina. I Men in Blacked you last night. Do you remember? I made you forget that your first meal after the pandemic.
He held up a fork to my forehead and tried to Men in Black me.
In front of the server.
I was trying to erase her memory from the actual first meal that she had after the pandemic, which was very forgettable in Oceanside, California at the Junkyard Bar and Grill. But yeah, I feel like I'm not saying I'm going to get a parrot, but remember we were at listener Cheryl and Lance's place in Corvallis, and they have a really cute bird that says treat that they were feeding, and I was like that, and it was like that bird made like the right amount of bird noise. Like it was in their home, but it wasn't like shrieking. It was just kind of like cooing softly, and it kind of made it nice and peaceful in there. And then it did
beautiful bird,
very cute. And then this bird. I mean, listen, I'm a person whose my strongest human connection right now is with my Roomba. Randy. I mean, I feel like maybe I get a bird.
I don't think so.
Really?
I mean, a bird.
You're notoriously anti-bird on this show, though.
He doesn't even like the bird is the word.
I know that is true.
That's true. What is with you and birds? You didn't like your mom had a parrot named Oops.
It was a cockatiel.
A cockatiel.
It ate my dad's credit cards.
There's a cartoon about it on YouTube. Look it up. It's actually pretty great.
Yeah.
Also, Christina, in the car yesterday, before we broke down. Boy, weren't we innocent then?
I know.
Oh my God, I know.
Like, tiny Mike. No. Hey, what are we going to get for snacks, everybody?
Yeah, I know. No, even in that last one, the one before we had like the tow truck, I'm just like, my hair is blowing in the wind, and I'm like, we're getting gas and snacks.
Yeah, so that's like 30 seconds before it starts belching.
But even then, Christina, you were asking for like Instagram, like what song would you be happy to never hear again? And I think you said Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
Yeah, I never want to hear Don't Stop Believing by Journey ever again.
I said the song Firestarter by The Prodigy.
That's a good pick.
Because I don't like that song and I don't want to hear it. And then Andrew said Bird is the word.
It just comes in. I mean, I don't hate that song. I actually kind of appreciate its role in kind of like a real garagey era of rock and roll that might have even been pre-punk in some ways. But have you ever been somewhere like now, like we've heard the song, we've appreciated it. Now you're chilling out and then somebody puts on the bar, 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 bar to the war. Is that good? Does anybody need that anymore? We've acknowledged it. Same with Rock Around the Clock.
Yeah, that one we don't need to hear anymore.
Like we've heard them.
Yeah. Actually,
that's good.
I can pull up the answers that people gave me yesterday too.
Okay. Yeah.
Hold on 1 second.
And I also said "Life Is a Highway," which is what got us on there. That Tom Cochran song.
More importantly, I would like to hear what Mary's song. What song you would never want to hear
What
again.
song would you never
want
like
to turn
to
the
hear?
mic over?
I'm embarrassed to tell you this, but it's Brandy, You're a Fine Girl.
Oh, you don't like it?
I don't like it.
Yeah. Who does that song?
Randy,
you're a fine girl.
That doesn't
what
answer
a
your
good
question.
wife you would be.
It's just me singing
Is
it.
that?
My love and my lady is the sea. Oh gosh.
And I adapted it to sing as the mother of the bride at my daughter's wedding.
Looking Glass.
Looking Glass.
Looking Glass.
Wait, hold on. Wait a second, Mare. So I just like saying Mare because I watch Mare of Easttown now. It makes me feel like a real cool Philly guy. So you don't like that song, but then you changed the lyrics to sing it to your daughter at her wedding?
Because my kids would torture me with that song, and they knew how much I didn't like it.
Really?
So my daughter's name is Annie, and I changed it to Annie, you're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be, unless you are hungry or have to pee.
How did she take that?
Hated it. I had to apologize.
No. Mary, I'm going to introduce you to my mom. I think you guys would really hit it off because my mom has a very similar energy. Very entertaining. She loves to, sort of like be the center of attention. She loves to be funny. A lot of her jokes may or may not work. Some of them are hurtful.
She's apologizing a lot.
No, my mom never apologizes.
That's the difference. Yeah, Luke's mom doesn't apologize.
No, my mom will do a move where she we get everybody together and then she'll make us sit and watch her and my dad sing Bridge Over Troubled Water. Which is a kind of a bit of an ask because they don't know the lyrics.
Okay, well, is that important for karaoke?
And also there's no music.
Okay,
there's
so
no
is that a
karaoke.
problem?
It's just them singing it a cappella.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You didn't do that at your daughter's wedding, did you?
No, but I apologize because I have another mom move for you.
Okay.
I was really worried about you on the road, and I found these things that I thought you could take in the car.
Mary,
Dude wipes.
do you know that I actually have these at my apartment in
No,
Portland, Dude wipes, and it makes me laugh every time?
They're minty. What about a minty flavor in that region of the body?
Well,
that makes no sense
I don't
to
have the
me.
minty ones, but I will absolutely use these, and I will report back. I think the idea of dude wipes are so funny. Every time I use one, I think, I got a dude butthole. I really do. By the way, your donations are not refundable. I'm sorry. Oh, and Mentos the Fresh Maker.
Well, that's garbage in, garbage out.
Oh, I see. So I'm minting up the whole process. You don't see now, Mary. You don't have to apologize for mothering me a little bit because you know who's not mothering me on this trip? My mother. My mother, who on Tuesday was blowing my phone up during the show, trying to figure out what happened to her Powell's bookstore gift card.
All right.
And so, whereas that's where her energy is at right now, you are bringing me these very helpful wipes, thank you, and these Mentos, which I'm sure everyone has to ride in the car with me will thank you for me eating these breath-freshening little things. Let me ask you something, because you've never heard an episode of the show. Now you have heard an episode of the show. Shoot us straight. How was it? How does this compare to what you thought we would sound like? Like, just please leave us a Yelp review.
Oh, I will leave a Yelp review. Absolutely.
Do we have a Yelp page for this yet?
You should have a Yelp page for this. So I'm amazed at, well, first of all, I apologize. Arizona apologizes. We are very sorry for all the heat and how it's taken.
Nobody told us Arizona was going to be hot in late May.
I tried to.
Yeah.
I did. I tried to.
You probably
Andrew.
did.
But you kids don't listen. But that's okay. I'm amazed at how you arrange everything here and how much goes into the show. I mean, the cables and the wires and the regulation of temperature and the cohesiveness with which you all banter with one another. And when I look back on this show, I'm trying to think, other than the breaking of the van, what is there? What's the takeaway?
Like what happened?
Kind of.
Like what are we even, like if the van hadn't broken down, what would we be talking about right now?
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's why I brought the dude wipes, because I thought that would at least, give us a little something to...
She's trying to make us content. Hashtag content.
Mary, you are wise beyond your years, because honestly, we could have done a whole show on dude wipes.
Yeah.
The other day, I'm sorry, I'm now eating a Mentos as well. The other day, I was using a dude wipe at my house. The reason I got them was because I couldn't find...
A dude wipe.
I usually use these Cottonelle ones.
You don't use a Tushy?
I have a Tushy at the house that I moved out of when I got divorced, and I didn't want to go to bat for the Tushy in the in the sort of division of the assets, so to speak. That's not bad at all. I wish I could fire.
I cannot believe he just told that joke.
But I was at the store, and I usually buy like these Cottonelle wipes, and they didn't have them, and all they had were these dude wipes, and I was using them, and I was laughing because the idea that like you need dude wipes, and I thought I was singing a song called "I Have a Dude Butthole," and I thought this in my head. I wasn't singing out loud. I don't want to make Randy, my Roomba, feel weird. And I thought to myself, this is a good topic for the show to talk about with Andrew, these dude wipes. And Mary, you instinctively knew that this was good content.
Not only that, I made you cookies. They're in the shape of cacti, and they're in the shape of hearts. And the hearts are for all your listeners who love you so much, from what I read on the Slack channel.
Well, Mary, they're loving you right now.
Well, that's very kind of all of you. Thank you. I love you all. But the hearts, when I was decorating the cookies, I only had green frosting, and I kept thinking, why am I putting green hearts? Now to hear that you had a green fluid leaking from your van.
Maybe there was something was going on in the universe.
Something was happening.
So I guess my question to you, Mary, and no pressure, because we will happily come back here next year and make you listen to another episode of the show. But could you see yourself ever becoming a listener now, or are you going to stay in the realm of a person who just interacts with the newsletter?
So that's a good question, because I am very visual as a person. It's hard for me to listen. I would rather be in a quiet room reading and watching the little Hey Dummies videos that you do. By the way, I asked you a Hey Dummy question, and nobody ever got back to me on it. And
What was the question?
It was about all the flavors and types of salt there are in the earth.
Oh.
Did you ever get that one?
I don't think so. What was the question? You wanted me to list them all?
Yeah, no, I wanted you to talk about the fact that how many people know that salt is not just salt. It's really amazing. There are all different colors and flavors. I have black lava salt at my house, truffle salt, pink Himalayan salt. What are the differences in salt? Because you guys are...
It's more of a comment than a question.
Well,
I feel like this is your video to make, Mary. You know more. You know so much more about it than we do.
What inspired it was the fact that you guys are the salt of the earth. What your show is...
Oh, that's so nice.
Is really just, you're down there, you're in the trenches with everybody, and you're talking about all kinds of things that just everybody needs to talk about. This is really refreshing. And I can see now, this is the first show I listened to, you probably sustained a lot of people over the pandemic, because this would be this little window into the outside world of nice, kind, funny people talking about interesting things.
We have heard that feedback from the listeners, and that has been really, really gratifying, because it's sort of like I don't want to pull a muscle patting us on the back too hard, but we have kind of been doing this companionship podcasting for a long time, and always been a little bit amazed that people keep donating and that like American Public Media allows us to just do this.
Yeah.
And then this year came, or the last year, the pandemic came, and it became clear to us that it was actually something that was really, really helping a lot of people feel connected to the outside world. And it was almost like we were, not to get woo-woo about it, it was almost like we were just kind of like, waiting for this little moment for our show to actually be meaningful to people. And we've been hearing that so much this week with this TBTL-a-thon. So it's very nice of you to say that, Mary, and it's been really, really humbling and gratifying to hear that from the listeners. Well,
there are many industrial complexes out there. We deal with the medical, the prison, the romantic industrial complex.
The dude wipe industrial
exactly.
complex.
And there doesn't seem to be really, especially if I give American Public Media a lot of credit for this, because there's really no radio industrial complex from what I can tell, and you guys are like the front runners of that, the fact that there is not that industrial thing. So when you make a donation, you just remember all the times that you laughed while listening to the show. You write that check with a smile. And I'm not here to promote donors, but
but I mean, honestly, it would be nice if you did.
Well, I will then. So.
No, you're doing an amazing job, Mary. I'm not kidding. Have you
really
worked in radio at any point in your life?
No, the only time I really did that was when I had to ask my dad for money when I was in college, a long time ago.
Well, wait a sec. Oh, that was when you were basically doing a Mary pledge drive?
Pretty much.
Where you were asking your dad for money?
Yeah.
You are a natch at this. Honestly, you should. I know you have a pretty full plate with all of the projects that you get up to, but I could see you being a beloved Phoenix public radio commentator.
How kind of you. Thank you.
I mean, I don't know if you listen to KJZZ.
I do.
It's a great station. And I think you should write some commentaries for them.
And K-Bach as well. Although classical and jazz don't really lend themselves much to comedy. You want to kind of go serious.
Right. But KJZZ, they have talk programming, right?
Yeah, they do.
I think your first commentary, Dude Wipes.
Okay. I'm on it.
Think about it. But Mary, the first time that we had you on the show, we knew that you were an extremely special person and extremely intriguing and entertaining. So we appreciate you being part of TBTL in your own unique way. But back to my question, which you kind of delicately did not answer. Do you think you'll ever listen to another episode of the show?
Absolutely.
Oh,
maybe
really?
Not this one because I know what I said. But I will listen
said what
to
I said.
I was here. Why do I need to relive this?
Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you for everything. It's been fun getting to know you over the years. And also, I will apologize to you. And actually, I should apologize to Cheryl and Adam and Megan and everybody. Oh, there was the monster again. And of course, Lisa, yesterday, everybody whose house we showed up at. When you first see me and we are getting ready to set up these shows, I am a bit of I am not the most gracious I could be. I am very intense and focused on getting everything up and running so that we can get the live stream up live at 10 and then, of course, overheated and down by 10 after.
Ideally.
But anyway, so I'm glad now that we can relax a little bit and have some fun, and you see that I'm not just a total rude guy. So thank you.
I understand your anxiety having watched you do all this stuff.
With 2 broken fingers, by the way.
Anyway, thank you. This is fun. I'm so glad it worked out, even though it wasn't our original plan. But it is what it is.
So I guess that's going to be where we wrap things up.
We could do Drops of Stupider. You want me to let you know about that?
I guess we should do Drops of Stupider. No, I just completely... It's only fitting that I forgot about the championship of Drops of Stupider here on it's arguably the most important day for this whole competition. I've been forgetting this thing for the last 2 weeks, but here we go. It's time for the Drops of Stupider.
Oh. Wow, your computer's literally fried.
Yeah, listen
to that.
Your
computer's literally fried. Luke.
Okay, we got it.
It's working.
Okay.
Hold on. Starting it over. It's okay. Everything's all right. Yes.
That's just absolute stupidity.
If my computer dies from this, it was worth it.
Oh my gosh. After this music, please turn the whole thing off and just put it inside.
Does anybody need to fry an egg? I've got just the cooking surface for you. It's called My Computer.
We can't have your computer totally fried. Also, we haven't played any audio